I'm going to tell you the story of the GBM, the greatest prank that never actually happened. So I had a friend when I was in college that we had kind of this weird, challenging relationship. We would compete against each other in various things. And there was this one point in school where he got this bicycle. And I don't care about bicycles myself, but apparently this bicycle was a very big deal. And maybe it was like the most expensive thing he had ever owned or something. I don't really know. But he got this bicycle and like wouldn't shut up about it. I remember it being like someone now talking about CrossFit, that you automatically know they do CrossFit because they're always talking about CrossFit. It was like this freaking bicycle. And so we were just like, oh my God, I get it. Like you can ride to class, whatever. Okay, great. So another friend, one of my roommates and I were like, all right, we gotta like dig with this guy's bicycle. What are we gonna do? We gotta just, figure something out in this competitive kind of nature. And so we started brainstorming a little bit. We're like, okay, we're gonna like put stuff on it. So started out real small. We would just leave something weird on his bike so he would think that somebody messed with it. Or we would move his lock around to look like somebody had like tried to steal it or something. And then we were like, you know what we should do? Is we should steal one of the wheels off of it. Like, how do we do that? So we started scheming around like, okay, he's gonna ride it to class and this is where he normally parks it. And we're just gonna take one of the wheels off one day. So we started like kind of carrying tools to see if we caught the opportunity to do it. But the more we started talking about it, we're like, okay, no, we can go pretty big on this. And so the more we started scheming, the more it was like layer added on layer of like, oh, let's draw more people in. And we had a list of volunteers and we had a spreadsheet. And so we had to start figuring out, okay, well, first of all, we have to like get this bicycle. So how are we gonna do that? So we made a plan where I made up some bullshit story about needing to ride a bicycle to class one day so that he would give me the combination to his lock so that I could get the lock off when we got there and I would just remember it. So we're like, okay, we can get the bike, no problem. What are we gonna do with the bike? So I went to York College and I was in the art department. And at that time, in the art department, you could still get onto this balcony on the 4th floor that overlooked like the back behind of York College. I don't think they are allowed to use it anymore. I don't think it's very safe, but at the time, we could still get out there. And so we're like, okay, we're gonna steal the bike. We're gonna create this maze of things that he has to do with like rhymes and complicated scavenger hunt-like clues until he gets to the end. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna take the bike, we're gonna suspend it over the outside of the balcony because that's the way he would always come to class. So that's where he would always park his bike, was right outside underneath of where that balcony was. We're like, all right, he's not gonna miss it if we hang his bicycle from the balcony. So as we're trying to figure out how to get there, we're like, all right, we need to bring his best friend into it and get him in from Pittsburgh to help us figure this plan out because he'll trust this guy. Like if we can get him in on it, it'll be totally fine. So as we're making the plan, we're like, we gotta give little tidbits. We gotta kind of play it up a little bit in ways that he's not gonna understand. So we made these t-shirts. We made one for him and his friend too, don't worry. But we made them for the 3 of us that were planning the event, and we were calling it the GBM. That was the nickname. And so we painted them on the front, and he would never know what it was. So we would just wear these t-shirts around him as much as humanly possible to kind of tease out this thing that we would secretly laugh about, behind his back. It was really friendly. So eventually we start talking to people about this, and we start talking to his boss. He worked at the theater department at the time at York College. And they had just built the brand new theater, the Waldner Performing Arts Center, and he worked there. And so his boss was the technical director. He was like, you know what would be really cool? Instead of off of the balcony, why don't you let me put it on the flies in the theater? And so we can lift it like the flies are the strings that come down and lift up the curtains or lift up people or whatever. It was new technology. The college had never had it before. We're like, yes, so you can just fly his bicycle up into the air when he walks into the room. It's perfect. So I would love to tell you that this was the greatest prank that I ever did and that ever happened to me. But unfortunately, we could never finally pull it off in the end. We couldn't get the friend to come out to Pittsburgh. Finals came around, and it started to kind of fall apart. But we had created all of the materials around it, so we did a large reveal of the whole prank to him eventually, where we just sat him down, and this is all over the course of maybe 3 months, like a long time, and we sit him down and we just start handing him presents. We had duct taped these t-shirts and made gifts, and we had written the rhymes and like created everything. And I think even though we never pulled off the prank, having all of that time scheming was one of my greatest memories, from college. So thank you.